Hi everyone, this is Venus Brown. I am coming to you with our first episode of season 3 brought to you by Netflix. I have been very excited waiting for this to come out since I did the reactions to season 1 and 2. It's finally out. I get to react to it. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I already had done a reaction to the first episode, and unfortunately, something happened with it. The recording was there, it was being recorded, it looked like everything was going fine, and somehow I use VLC Media Player, and it showed like the little round orange cone. Usually, if it's loading something, it'll show that cone until it gets done, and then after it gets done, if you have the image large enough, it will show the image of the video after that, and the cone goes away. If for some reason it doesn't finish, a lot of times that cone will go away and nothing will be left in its place. I was busy doing other things and I did not realize when I stop the recording, it should finish off the load and that cone should go away and then the image should appear. That did not happen. I'm not sure what happened because, like I said, I was doing other stuff. I didn't go back to check the video. Wasn't there. So the orange cone was still there with the label of the name of the video, but there was no actual video. And I tried to open it and it basically wouldn't do anything because there was nothing there. So I have to do the reaction again. I know the second time around is not going to necessarily be the same reaction, and I apologize for that. It's just the way that it is. I am going to be doing some things a little bit different. I have a different background below my image for the video. I have the opacity turned down on the video, so it will probably be harder to see. If it seems too difficult to see, please let me know in the comments. Let me know that, hey, this is really too difficult to see. I really wish you would turn the opacity up or something to make it more visible, because I know that that could be a problem. I apologize, but I am trying to keep from getting copyright blocks and copyright strikes, especially copyright strikes. I just got my first copyright strike, and that made me very nervous. All right, let's see what these Derry girls and Derry boy are doing this week.
Let's hope you have something to lose.
Oh, for fuck's sake, what's happened now?
Your TV is such a piece of crap.
No, it's not. Your camera's the problem.
My camera's top of the range.
It's true. His ma only sends him really expensive shit, you know, to make up for the fact that she doesn't love him.
Michelle.
Oh, sorry.
The script is a masterpiece.
The script is born in. Doesn't make any sense. What's it even about? Peace. Oh, I am so fucking sick of peace.
How much longer are we going to ignore the elephant in the room? Where? It's tomorrow, Kiss.
Orla.
Tomorrow. Christ, I feel sick.
Why? You gonna walk it, Claire?
I know that. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you four. If you fail your GCSEs, the school won't take you back.
He's a psychopath and he's outstayed his welcome. Sheamus! Sheamus!
Just what the hell is your problem, boy?
That is my problem, Joe.
Cat.
There's now a dead shrew on our doorstep.
And?
And if we add that to the 3 dead pigeons, the dead mouse, and the dead feckin' frog, that's quite the body count, Joe.
And what's that got to do with Sheamus?
The fact that the corpses started piling up within 24 hours of you taking in a feral cat is no coincidence, Joe.
It wasn't Sheamus. Sheamus wouldn't hurt a fly.
I've seen him eat flies.
Sheamus didn't kill anything.
He could at least put a bell on the thing.
That's a good idea, Daddy. That way, if Sheamus is the culprit,
He isn't.
well, then the birds, the mice, the shrews, the frogs, they'll hear him coming.
Put a bell on him. I don't know, Mary. Is that not a breach of his human rights?
No,
Breaches
because he's a
human
cat.
He
rights.
doesn't want to wear a bell, Mary. He's made that very clear.
Michelle's to
my
watch a film. Can we
my
borrow
pets
your
do
video,
not
Georgia?
like things
So
being
big
put
day
on them.
tomorrow.
Is that
I had to pay an overdue fine last week, and American Gigolo is not suitable viewing for teenage girls.
I didn't rent American Gigolo, Daddy. I swear.
Leave the Waynes alone, Jerry.
William Wallace wasn't a drag queen, Michelle.
He's wearing a skirt and has a full face of foundation on him, James.
Oh, fuck's sake. You dirty wee bastard. What kind of a fucking animal doesn't rewind?
Dennis,
He just
what are
flips
you
him off.
doing here? Sister?
This is nothing. You should see the other guy.
Right. We wanted to rent a video, but
Yeah, I didn't ask.
trying to take our minds off tomorrow.
Why are you still talking to me?
The results, you know?
Stop
I
it.
suppose in many ways you're as nervous as we are.
Well, no, because the school actually receives them the day before you do, and also, I don't care.
Look, sister, it's your...
Just try to enjoy what time you've left, girls.
Look at their faces. Oh, their faces are priceless.
We're girls. We're poor. We're from Northern Ireland and we're Catholic, for Christ's sake.
Oh my God, she's right. What type of future will we have? We don't need to worry about the future, Aaron. If we fail, well, our mas are going to fucking wipe us out, and dead people don't need jobs.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. That's very reassuring.
How bad do you think it is? Do you think it's like grounded bad or run away from home bad? Exactly.
And if it is run away from home bad, I'm afraid I will need my snorkel back, James.
Okay, let's not panic.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Or we can see what we're dealing with tonight.
Oh,
Leave it to Michelle.
I'd rather not smash the shit out of it if you don't mind, Michelle.
This is what they do in the movies.
What, wave a video village carried around like a fucking simpleton?
This is what
Give
I
me the
did in the
look.
military.
Step aside.
Usually to get into my
So,
own
I
room.
just-
Seriously,
and
the
then
amount
it
of times I
should.
locked myself out of my own room.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
So sad.
Can I try something?
Knock yourself out, Dora.
What are you doing here, girls?
Break
Dressed
in
up like a
and
leprechaun or
enter.
something.
Netball?
What?
We are here for netball practice.
It's a bit late, isn't it?
Christ, would you look at the time?
Listen, girls.
What is nipple practice?
I'm going to ask you something now, and I want you to give me an honest answer. Is that clear?
Listen,
He looks like a piece of taxidermy, Sarah. Seamus has
It looks like a
lines
stuffed animal.
out of control.
He can't go around killing people's pets, Dad. There'll be a riot.
oh, we haven't had one of them in a while.
He is
We haven't
innocent.
had a
Come
riot
on,
in a
Dad.
while.
This is pretty damning
Got a
evidence.
riot.
Yeah.
All the computers.
Now that I think of it, weren't those computers like relatively new?
I think they might have been, yeah.
Right.
At the time. They were
Is it a
definitely
bit
new.
weird that two men we've never seen before just sort of took away a load of really expensive equipment in the middle of the night?
What are you getting at, Claire?
It's just that, now, on reflection, I'm slightly worried we might have accidentally helped burgle the school.
It's amazing they took this long to figure out that those were thieves. And I knew about this part before because I had seen like a little clip of them being interrogated. So I kind of knew that they were going to be interrogated even before the first time I watched the episodes. Hold your gun.
Say anything at this
They're
time.
bent on these
Anything we do say may be
movies
given
and
an evidence.
shows.
You know, our right to remain silent. You haven't told me about my right to remain silent. What about my right to remain silent?
Shut the fuck up, James.
Yeah, what about his right to remain silent? I do wonder who they are. Because they're just gonna interrogate them, so I don't think they have to. I don't think, no, because they're not being arrested. Huh. I guess if anyone knows how that legal parameter works when you're interrogating somebody but you're not arresting them. I don't think you have to read their Miranda rights. I'm not sure though. If you can correct me, put it in the comments. Oh, almost had an accident there. Coffee cup landed on my keyboard. Okay, stop with the music already. This is the part that I seen. I think it was like a comedy clip of comedy
Please,
from the show.
Okay, ladies. I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
Nice uniform.
Thank you.
Oh, you're
The
welcome.
uniform definitely appears to be military. It looks a lot like the dress
There is no
uniform
tape.
that I had in the U.S. Army.
and totally
It's not
innocent,
green.
and this is a horrific miscarriage of justice.
Grant,
Excuse me?
here's where we're at, girls.
I'm actually a boy.
Okay.
Plus,
look,
I recognize
we've
the
had
ribbons.
several reports
Some of those ribbons look like
suspicious
ribbons I
activity
had
on the
on my
grounds
uniform.
of Our Lady Immaculate College this evening. Following up on that lead, we discover U5 on the premises, that the locks of the side door have been forced and the alarm system deactivated. Now, we can't get hold of the headmistress, Sister George Michael.
George Michael?
Michael.
But the caretaker has informed us that a substantial amount of computer equipment seems to have vanished.
We didn't take it.
What were you doing on the grounds, girls?
We went there too. We thought that we could. We were just trying to.
Break 'em.
We would like to speak to a solicitor, please.
We're just
All in good
to
time.
break in.
For the tape, the inspector is refusing us the right of legal representation.
There is no tape.
Why can't we speak to a solicitor?
I didn't say you couldn't.
Oh, you're trying to stitch us up, aren't you?
Why would I do that?
Because we're Fenians.
That
Okay, what are Finians? And I recognize the crown on his shoulder. What is the other thing? The round thing, if anyone knows, because I have no clue.
there is no tape.
If your organization isn't prejudiced, Inspector, then you won't mind telling us how many Catholic officers are serving in it at this time.
I think we're losing sight of who's questioning who here, girls.
How many?
Well, if you count the Jewish fella from Ballymena, 3.
In the
So she asks about Catholics, and he brings up a Jewish one.
You're minors. We need to get a parent or a guardian down here ASAP. Who would you like us to call?
Yeah, I think you're supposed
Can
to
you
have
just give us a minute?
a parent or guardian. I think you're supposed to have a parent or guardian there before you start interrogating them, frankly.
it's just an extension of my man.
What about someone's dad?
Dads can't be trusted.
Dads are in the pockets of Maz.
That's true. Dads are just man enablers.
Well, who then?
Oh, God.
That's for my
There's nobody.
enablers.
They'll just wear us down until we say we did it. We'll be forced to sign false confessions. There's no way out. What if we wear them down first? I know who we should call.
So I says to myself, says I, Colum, who'd be ringing you at this hour? And sure, if I hadn't been in the middle of a May Benchy, I'd have probably slept through the thing.
So Uncle Colum, I try to remember it in a previous episode. It reminds me of the energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows. So the other guy appears to be wearing military clothing also. Because that sweater is military also. It's interesting how much of the stuff from Ireland, UK, Britain, all of that seems to be pretty similar to the US, but it definitely seems to have a lot of similarities.
So, as you call him, well, he was born more than 4 centuries later.
I will caution you.
She made the whole thing up. As mad as a bag of cats she was.
Sir?
And she had been clattering the way in non-fake tan stuff to make him more Spanishy looking, you know.
There's a van matching the descriptions on CCTV.
Which is how suspicions were raised, you see, because there was a powerful whiff of the wee critter.
That'll do. Thank you. We'll take it from here.
We can go.
Yes, please. Do go right now. And for the love of suffering Jesus, take him with you.
No more energy vampires.
Still refusing to wear a bell, I hear.
What about it?
People have been talking to you. People are concerned. The pigeons, the mace, that's how it starts. Next thing you know, pets are disappearing.
Sheamus didn't touch the rabbit.
Pet bunny.
Well, if I find out any differently, Joe.
You won't.
Fluffy, hey?
Oh, thanks, love. I was looking for that. They're all the rage girls.
He's got a bell on now.
Our Lord is up there now, looking down on the world, thinking the floods and the famine can wait. For there is a child in Derry who needs me to magically alter the contents of an envelope.
Oh, that's very good, Sister Michael. Very funny.
Oh, to me such a lick, Geraldine.
Oh, just get on with it, please.
Oh, I passed it, Mass!
Me too.
Me 3. Aye, by the skin of your teeth, Michelle.
Streeties! Oh my God, Erin. Snow? Look, honey, 4 B's, 3 C's and a D.
What? Let me see that. That can't be right.
Hi.
Why have you got the same results as me? That can't be right.
Christ, you don't think there's been some sort of a mix-up, do you?
Orla just does really well at exams, despite the fact she obviously, you know, is subnormal.
Oh, thank you, sister.
He smiled about it.
I didn't say you failed. I implied you failed.
Why?
Bit of a slow day.
We passed! We did it! We did it! We did it!
Oh, hello there. There was a bit of an incident last night in the school.
Have you seen this?
Oh, that was great. That was great. Even the second time around, it was great. Okay, everyone. That was episode 1 of season 3 of Derry Girls. Great, great episode, which is not unusual. Oh, you guys. So glad this show is back. And it does suck that this is going to be that this is the last episode, but still a whole season of funny episodes for me to go through, which is great. We start out and the kids are actually talking about, I guess, some video that they created or something, or that they were trying to create. Not sure exactly what that was for, because it quickly switches to being about this GCSE, which are like final exams, I think, for high school, I want to say, in the UK. I know their grade system for school is a little bit different in America, so I think their high school occurs around our period of middle school, and then after that, uh, depending on their GCSEs, I think they are able to go on to something that's more like kind of like our junior college or something like that, that's geared towards whatever field that you are probably going to go into. That's my understanding. I may be wrong. You can correct me if you want to. But yeah, it's like all grade school through their high school would be around our middle school, and then our high school is more like their junior college, and then our junior college comes right after high school. Um, unless you just go straight to university, but it depends. All right, so anyway, they are worried about what their grades are going to be on the GCSE because it is important, and it can, from my understanding, it can really determine your direction after high school. So, so a lot of tension and pressure, is going to be on them to figure out what is going to happen to them after school. We also have this situation where they have this new member to the household, Sheamus, and Sheamus, as it turns out, is a cat. And Sheamus has been rampaging the neighborhood, killing birds and bunnies and things like that. Okay. I had a cat back when I was a kid. Okay. I am allergic to cats. I'm allergic to dust. I'm allergic to pollen, but it's just hay fever allergies. I get, my eyes will blow up like golf balls. I get hives. My eyes turn itchy and watery and red. I sneeze. Cat hair. But that's the only animal I'm allergic to. So cat scratch is a cat hair. The cat scratches like really irritate my skin. They make it itch a lot. And the cat hair, of course, just drives me crazy. Gives me sneezes and hives and rash and whatever. Anyway, I had a cat for a long time when I was a teenager, but I think after a while I got tired of the allergies. I also all my cats were like snooty little things, and they wanted to be petted when they wanted to be petted and never seemed to want to be they never seemed to want attention when I wanted to give attention. And they loved to sit on whatever I was reading or writing at the time. Loved to do that. So anyway, eventually I got tired of it and I got rid of the last cat I had, and I never got another cat. My kids have asked for cats, and I'm like, nope, I'm allergic, and I don't feel like dealing with it. Don't feel like dealing with the allergies. So we have a little teeny dog that's like, well, we had another dog before, so we've only had one dog at a time, and we've only had two dogs since my kids were born, uh, their entire lives. So anyway. So Sheamus is killing things, and they find out Sheamus has killed this cute little bunny. And the bunny is obviously a pet because it's got a cute little uh, collar, pink collar that says Fluffy on it around its neck. So, and it was hilarious because later on the kids find the collar on the floor. Mary's sister is like, "Oh, let me see that! It's all the rage." That was something that was funny. And those things that are called collars, the ones that people use. But anyway, the kids go to the video store and they see the guy that used to run the other store, and now he apparently has a job there, and they're asking him for advice on things to watch, and he, as usual, has nothing nice to say to them. And and he's just being like really mean. And then Sister Michael walks in, and they come to find out that Sister Michael actually knows the grades uh ahead of time before they get them, and so they're curious, but Sister Michael won't give them the information. But then she lets them think that they did bad, because I think what is it? I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was insinuating that you might want to find something that you can do with your lives after this. Like you must not have done that good uh because it's going to affect the rest of your lives badly. So that was the majority of the episode from there on out, is them coming up with this plot to find out what are these grades or do something about it. And of course, it's Michelle's idea. And so they decide to go to the school to find out what the grades are. And when they are in the school, they run into these people who are stealing all the computers, but they don't realize that they're stealing. I don't know how it took them so long to piece together that these guys were stealing computers. Because, like, seriously, the one guy looked like he was dressed as a leprechaun. Even in Ireland, I don't imagine that is something that you would normally see after hours at the school when you're trying to break in and find out your grades. As Claire is figuring out that they are thieves, the authorities show up. And I was trying to figure out the whole time, like, who are these authorities? And I immediately recognized that the one guy was wearing a military uniform, but the other guy, it took me a while. And eventually I figured out he's also in a military uniform because because those sweaters are usually specific to the military. They might be for the cops too, but the one guy's uniform definitely looked like a military uniform, and to me, what that guy was wearing looked like one of the standard issue sweaters that you get with your military clothing, at least in the U.S. And it looks like there seems to be a decent amount of overlap between some of the stuff over there and some of the stuff in the U.S. So the kids think that they've been caught red-handed. They think that they're in trouble from the law, and so Erin keeps saying saying for the tape so that she can be on record as saying certain things, and the guy keeps saying that there is no tape, which that cracked me up. And then eventually they said that they actually need an adult there since they're minors, which I was under the impression that you are actually supposed to get an adult there before you begin interrogating any children, any minors. I have seen situations where police officers have abused that situation and actually started asking kids things before an adult was around, but I'm pretty sure they're legally not supposed to do that. And I don't know what they do with that information that they get before the adult shows up, if anything like that can stand up in court, because I know a lot of things, if you don't follow the rules and regulations and laws in place for that stuff, a lot of things don't hold up in court. So I do wonder about that. Like, you're collecting this information, but if it doesn't hold up in court, then what are you really collecting it for? But I don't know. I don't know. And Ireland's a different country, so I can't say for sure how things work over there. But I imagine, to me, it looks like there is a significant amount of overlap between laws and policies over there and over here. They come up with the indication that they need to have an adult there in order to continue on. The kids come up with the grand idea that they're going to bring Uncle Colum, because we know how Uncle Colum is. He will drain the energy out of the entire room with his long, boring stories. And that definitely worked. So props to them. That was a good idea. They say they're burying the body, I think. So Joe and Jerry go and bury the bunny, and as they come back, they find out their uncle is there and has his grandchild with him, who is very sad because her bunny is missing. And he wants to know if Sheamus had anything to do with it, because there have been stories going around the community about this cat terrorizing the animals in the neighborhood, and how even though it starts with these little birds and stuff, it can descend to pets around the neighborhood, which apparently it has. While they're being questioned about Sheamus, about why he's still not wearing a bell on his collar, and about the fact that this bunny is missing after it was supposed to go for a walk, and this cat has there are stories that this cat has been killing other animals around the neighborhood. And then Mary sees the bunny's collar laying on the floor, and like quickly tries to move it, but you hear the bell when she moves it. But somehow they managed to keep him from seeing that. And then later on, when the kids come back from their escapade with the law enforcement or authorities, whoever you want to call them, Orla finds the pet collar. So let's just put the kitty cat and pet thing to bed. I will say, Sheamus was shown at the end and had his little collar with the bell on it at that point. So he lost his battle with keeping the bell off. All right. Now, the kids finally get to find out what their grades are, and the whole time they're thinking that they did horrible because of the things that Sister Michael said. And she gives them the envelopes, and they open the envelopes, and everybody has passed. And Claire has gotten straight A's, which nobody's really all that surprised about. And Aaron and Orla, it turns out, have the same grades, and everyone's surprised how well Orla did. And Sister Michael makes the point that, yeah, it's kind of weird, even though, or she calls her subnormal. Oh my goodness. So she calls her subnormal and says that even though she's subnormal, she really does well on tests. And I have to say, I have relatives and friends that don't do so well in class, don't do so well with assignments and schooling and things like that, but tend to do very well on tests. And I have friends and family that go the other way around and do very well in class and with assignments and stuff like that, but then bottom out when it comes to testing. So it can go either way, and I have seen both sides. I tend to do pretty good on tests. I tend to do okay on assignments and schoolwork as long as I get it done. My problem all through grade school was always whether I was gonna actually get it done, because so many of the classes, if you didn't get it done, you would get no credit for it at all, which definitely killed some of my grades very often. In college, I was not like that. In college, I was just very determined to really get everything done. So I was always finished my work. I just spent a lot of time on some of it because I do have some issues with processing and with ability to, my reading pace is slow. My ability to absorb information isn't that great. So I spent inordinate amounts of time on schoolwork and everything, but I always did very well in college, not in high school and grade school. High school and grade school. High school, I graduated with a C minus average. And that was with like grades that I struggled with would basically dip down really, really low to D's or failing, and then I would get in trouble, and I would raise them up to C's and D's, sometimes B's. But then my other grades that I usually did well in would fall back down a little bit, not to failing or anything, but they would go. These were grades that usually I would get A's in, and I would end up with like a B or C instead. And that happened throughout my high schooling. It was like I couldn't manage to keep everything up at the same time. I could only keep certain things up. And I also had a lot of stuff always going on that I had to take care of at home so that my schoolwork went on the back burner. Orla passed, Aaron passed, Michelle passed, James passed, and Claire got straight A's. So they were super excited. It was great to see just how excited they were. But it is important, those end of school grades are just very, very important. I have been going on and on enough. I loved this episode. I love every episode. Derry Girls, it's a nice short series that brings you some laughter and occasionally brings you certain emotions that you didn't know you were going to experience during it. So I do enjoy that. I can't wait to see the next episodes. They are all on Netflix. I understand that, but I am not doing them one after another. I have a family and other things that I have to take care of. So it does take me a while to get each of these reactions done. And if I'm doing discussions, it takes a while to get those done too. So either way, I will see you whenever I get the next episode out for Derry Girls. Season 3, Episode 2. I have done a couple of Crown reactions for The Crown, like very beginning, Season 1, Episode 1 and 2. Those are out, so if you want to, you can look at those if you're interested in that. Thank you. Bye.
I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.